much all of you respect him, how much you have great commitment to the cause of friendship between our two great countries, and also the way you like to contribute to make it better. So I'm really thankful to not only him but all of you for organizing the event. I can see in the audience so many important people, including my dear friend who was the Nepal's ambassador to India, and we have worked together. When I was in the government, he was ambassador, and we have seen how much each one of you are interested to make this relationship work for not just betterment of the two countries and the two societies, but also I would say for the rest of the world. Because we are neighbors, and we can show to the world that this relationship is so close and we can work despite being in different nations. The world will also feel that this is one example, why not we also follow that? So this is our responsibility to create a model of how the bilateral relationship should work. And therefore I am sure we'll all take it forward as we work together. This is a relationship. This is a relationship which is not just at the level of two governments. It is not just an economic relationship, it is not a social relationship, it is civilization relationship, and even much more than that. We have seen that in Nepal, there are many people of Indian origin live here. If you go to India, just across the border, not just across the border, all over the country, you will find people of Nepali origin now living in India. And if you ask them, if you ask a person who is living in Nepal from Indian origin, who are you? He will say, I am a Nepali. If you go to the Nepalis in India and ask them, they will say, I am Indian. So this is something which is very unique, that without forgetting the roots, we still identify with the country of our adoption. And in a way, there is no term like that. If there was a term, there was something like citizenship of two countries, people would say, I am not Nepali or no, I am not Indian, they would say, I am a Nepali Indian or Indian Nepali. This close is the bond that exists between the two countries, and that can happen only when the deep-rooted place for this relationship lies in the hearts of the people. Now we have to find out what needs to be done to take it to the newer heights. And one of that is this very important forum that my dear friend Mr. Prem Lashkari has created, नेपाल भारत फ्रेंडशिप सोसाइटी. इसको और बढ़ोतरी देने के लिए सबसे पहले तो दिल में प्रेम होना चाहिए. तो ये बात इसके लिए प्रेम ही कर सकता है कि ये प्रेम की सोसाइटी किस तरह से आगे बढ़े. और इसलिए मैं जानता हूँ कि जिस तरह से काफ़ी लंबे समय से मैंने देखा है कि प्रेम जी as a commitment, whenever he comes to India or whenever he speaks to me, he'll always say how much more we can do for the people of both the countries, not for anything else. How people in either country can benefit, that's what his commitment is, and that is what is necessary. You will find that in every household in India, there would be somebody or the other related to Nepali. I am not saying every household will be exaggeration, but I am saying most of the household, many households, there will be such relationship, and so would be the case here. So now, it's a job of taking it to the next level. Not just that this is good relationship, very good social, cultural, civilizational, we worship the same deities in both the countries, but now we have to take it to the new level. And that level has to be how people can also benefit economically. This is very important. Despite the fact that both the countries have done rapid progress in economy, still we have a large number of poor people living in both the countries. In fact, this is a challenge. No society can be sustained on a long period of time unless we remove the basic poverty of all the people. The second challenge would be to reduce inequality. And to remove inequality again, we'll have to upgrade the people at a lower strata to a level wherein they can also compete with skills, with capabilities, and to do that again, we'll have to really work hard. And that, in a way, is a common challenge to both the countries. Even India has large number of poor. Nepal has number of poor. So we can really work together to ensure that we can have a common strategies of economic development. And that depends upon the resources. As Premji was saying, the program that he had organized way back 7-8 years ago, when I had come there, it is one of the common resources that we have is water. How can we harness that to make it as a resource for economic development? And that's something which we really need to work on. And I'm sure we'll do that. In fact, my dear friend who represents India here for quite some time, the former ambassador of India to Nepal, will actually give some more ideas to you. I had to go for other program, but I could resist the temptation of not coming here. So I told him, though some people are waiting for me, I said, still I'll come here, attend the program and then go. So some points that you just mentioned, I'm very happy that you mentioned those points. One of the challenges, the current situation that is developed in the world, which is actually in a way beyond the control of both the countries. The unfolding of events which has happened has put us into a very challenging situation. The food security is going to be a problem. The foreign exchange issues will become a challenge. Economic development at the same time. At a time when Nepal, in particular, one of the revenue source of revenue is tourism. And last 2 years there was no tourism. Everything was closed. The other source remittance, again that was a problem because people working abroad, if they didn't have a job or a source of revenue, how would they send money back? So that was also a challenge. And now in that context, we'll have to see how do you work on this. So I'm very happy when you mentioned some of the recent restrictions that India has put, how that will not affect Nepal. We'll have to work on that and find out. Because Nepal, India, we have very close relationships, so we'll have to find out what best way to address it. As a Minister of Commerce and Industry, I prepared India's first ever agriculture export policy. And we had said that that will result into India's agriculture export going from that time less than $20 billion or just about $20 billion to almost $100 billion in the next few years' time. And in fact, we are on track. We really exported it. But its current restrictions, how they should not affect Nepal adversely, is something which we'll have to work on. We'll have to think about it. I'm sure we'll find a way, but it's a very valid point. And therefore, we'll have to find out. We also have to find out other issues that you mentioned. And I must tell you something, that when Nepal feels the pain, we also suffer. So obviously, we'll find out how best to address these issues in the context of India's own domestic issues. Because the food, as you know, even Indians, 1.4 billion people we have to feed. Out of them 850 million, we are giving them free food for last more than 2 years thanks to Prime Minister Modi. So we'll have to continue to do that, but at the same time ensure that our brothers and sisters in Nepal also don't suffer. It's something which we'll have to find out, the modalities, how to work on it, and I'm sure we'll find a way to make that happen. So the connectivity is a very important issue. Kathmandu to Patna, Kathmandu to Varanasi, all these places, it's very important. In fact, I was both aviation minister as well as the railways minister. So as the railway minister, we are already finding out a ways of connecting Kathmandu to India. In fact, I had sent a technical team soon thereafter, after I came here as railway minister and announced it also. So I think that some work must be going on connectivity. In fact, this is going to be now, since air travel is reopening, it's good news and a bad news. The good news is that travel is reopening, but because it's reopening, the routes which are already operational are working over the capacity. And therefore, we have to find out ways of doing it. But luckily, now India, we have almost like a open sky policy with Nepal at least, for sure. There is no restriction on which airline can fly, how many flights, that no restriction is not applicable. So I think we will have to encourage our Indian air carriers to take more flights too. And that's for the commercial reason. They're not going to lose money, they will in fact earn money. Like this sector will always be full. There will not be a single seat that will be vacant on these routes. So I think we'll have to find out. We had launched a program in India called UDAN, which ensured that many routes in India, the people could travel at 2,500 rupees. 2,500 rupees. So it was sometimes cheaper than road travel, sometimes it was cheaper than even train. But again, that is also an issue because air fuel, which is required for aviation fuel, has gone to the roof globally. And that again is one of the challenges that we are facing. So we'll have to find out ways of doing that, but I'm sure it's a very valid point. And it's for a good reason that more and more people travel between these two cities. There will be more tourism also for both economies will also benefit, people contact also will enhance. So I think these are whatever you have suggested are extremely valid points we'll take forward. And my friend from Indian Embassy, the political counselor is here. I think he was making note of all these points. So I'm sure he will follow at a level of the government as well. So thank you very much for inviting me. I really appreciate this opportunity of meeting you. Honestly, when Prem told me that this gathering, I said, of course I will come because